It's fine. Keep him waiting. You. Are you muted?
Hello? Oh my god, it happened. Just talk, Gabe?
Hello. I
Yes,
am
of
Gabe.
course your audio's there. Of course your audio's there. Of course it's there. Of course it's there.
I mean, you can just
Hello,
talk and then
everybody.
I'll
It's
narrate.
fine. They've got me. All right. It wouldn't be a live show if there wasn't something going wrong. And today we've got wrong outfit and no audio. I mean, anyway, welcome to this live playthrough of the Dragonlance book, Shadow of the Dragon Queen, which is the new adventure module that's just come out from Wizards. And I will be playing with 4 players normally, but for the next 4 episodes, we're doing one-on-ones with the players as a kind of session 0 thing. Now, if you don't know what I'm kind of talking about, I did a series of videos which do contain spoilers, so do bear that in mind, where I talk about why I would want to do one-on-one sessions with the players first, just to get them into the game. And of course, I'm not going to tell you that now, because one of my most amazing players is here already, and that is none other than Gabe, who is going to be playing Van, or Vannwel, as his official full title is. Gabe, welcome to the stream. Tell us a little about yourself.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Well, I'm Gabe. As you said, I'm here in the UK. I am an illustrator and comic artist. I tend to work with a lot of Kickstarters, doing kind of like Kickstarter, like anthology comics on Kickstarter. Don't have anything right now. However, there's one that's actually coming out soonish, so you can follow me like in my kind of socials at The Art of Gabe. I'll let you know when that comes out.
At
Yeah,
the Art of Gabe. I knew I needed to have something prepped. At the Art of Gabe. I will put the link in chat.
Twitter and Instagram. But apart from that, yes, it's me.
Yes.
I've been role playing for about a few years, 4 years, mostly 5th edition. So I'm really excited to play Dragonlance because it was not a setting that I'm used to. So I don't know anything about Dragonlance apart from what I've read recently.
That's awesome. And I don't know anything about Dragonlance either. So we're in the same boat, which is great. Now, I have also just discovered that the permanent overlay of the YouTube channel sits exactly on top of the dice overlay that I have so artfully set up. This makes sense because, well, why wouldn't it? So just give me a second here. I need to just move. I said, no, right, oh goodness, it's all the things. All the things need to move. Dice capture box. This needs to move here. This is it, folks. This is the professionalism that you can expect to see on this channel on a regular basis. So yeah.
It's fine. Things happen.
Things happen. Things happen. And to chat, yes, Laura Bones, this is exactly why I need mods. But I didn't want to impose on anyone. But if you're around, well, yes. Okay, now we are running one-on-ones, of course. And tonight we kick off with Van. Now, tell us a little bit about Van.
Right, Van. So full name is Vannwel. Vannwel Amalith from the Amalith family. He is a Sylvanasti high elf, and kind of his family is kind of important in the way that his family has like a very long standing tradition with the Mages of High Sorcery, which I hope we get to explore at some point. Right, he is in his kind of early 20s, in age, which is quite young for an elf. So he's seen pretty much like a very early teen. However, he kind of physically looks as it should, like quite old. Not old, but like at that age, like 20ish. I think most importantly, his feature is that he's quite short, like very, very short. I think he's sitting at about 4'3", 4'2", which is elves in general are pretty short, or shorter than humans, but like he is really short. People tend to confuse him with like a very Paul Kender. And yeah, he's kind of thin, scrawny. He is wearing kind of like a bluish tunic with like a cape, and that's basically the Spetzican. He's very, very shy.
He's very, very shy, and we're playing a one-on-one. Yay!
It's gonna be awesome, guys. It's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be awesome. Absolutely. Right. Are you ready to play?
Am I ready to play? I am ready. I was born ready.
Born ready, yes. Okay, hopefully the audio is okay for everybody, and it is sounding nice and clear now. So let's jump into it. Van, I need you to please give me... And I need to just make sure the screen is active. I've got so many screens happening at the same time, folks. It's insane. Okay. There is a howling wind that whistles around you and tugs at the hood that you have pulled over yourself for some warmth. You have been walking through foot-high snow which crunches and crackles under each footstep, desperately trying to find a location that you have been directed to go to in order to begin your trials of the Mages of High Sorcery. Should you succeed in this trial, you will graduate from the academy having spent several years in study and will be honored with one of the 3 colors of the Mages of High Sorcery, either a white robe, which would indicate that you are of pure intent and heart, a red robe, indicating that you are, well, there to help, but also there to learn for yourself, or perhaps a black robe, which would indicate that you think only of yourself. Nonetheless, the journey has taken you quite some time to get here, at least a week's worth of travel from one village to the next, slowly making your way higher and higher into the mountains, until now you find yourself on this icy peak with fir trees all around you, offering very little protection from the cold or the ice or the snow. And as you take a step forward, I need you to make a perception check as something moves in the foliage nearby.
Right.
That is an amazing start to this campaign.
A lot of snow, you know? Cannot see that well. The fog and the snow.
The fog, the snow, your hood kind of wrapping around you as the wind is pulling and pushing in all different directions. And yes, this is what happens as you are pulling your hood back. The frigid snow has made your fingers numb with that horrid, almost burning sensation, as ironic as it would be. And all of a sudden, lurching out of the darkness, there is the most insufferable, rotting corpse that you could hope to see. It staggers through the snow. Its skin is pale white, and icicles grow out of the various holes within its body. It has obviously been dead here for a very, very long time. And with that, I would ask you to roll initiative.
Okay. Rolling initiative.
Folks, whilst the initiative is being rolled, oh, look at that! You've doubled your previous roll from a 1 to a 2.
Jesus Christ, what's happening? I tend to roll pretty bad. So.
Chat, we need some help here.
This is on brand.
This is on brand.
Definitely.
All right, here we go. So, lurching forward, this hand has your full attention when suddenly, from out of nowhere, this other piece of zombie lurches forward. It's more of its mouth filled with ice, and this hand reaches out towards you. You can see that all of the flesh from the fingertips has long since frost burnt away, and just bone reaches out. It tries to strike you, and it gets a 9, so that's a miss, I believe. That is a miss. Excellent. This then brings us up to the lurching zombie in front of you. They all are way more aware of this situation than you are. It makes sense. They knew that you were there. You didn't know that they were there. It comes stumbling forward, and it pushes through the snow. It gets to you. As it does, it also tries to claw at you. This time its hands dig deep, and it misses completely with a natural 1.
They're quite slow, you know.
The dice are low. They need to warm up. It's so cold. The dice are not rolling well. It is you, Vannwel. What are you doing?
So I think Van is quite taken aback, so he kind of steps backwards a bit. And he is going to cast Mage Armor on himself. So he kind of does this, utters some words, and then he kind of just kind of this bluish kind of light kind of envelops him, and it kind of looks like is himself, but like a bit bigger. So he's not compensating at all. So yes.
All right. Your magic armor shimmers into life. Unfortunately, the zombie that is attacking you has no idea what this means, so it tries to hit you again, although your armor class is now suitably improved. But a natural 20! Natural 20. That's what happens, I think, with a natural 20. I don't know if anything's happening on the screen right now. It should be happening. Natural 20. Did it happen? Did anything happen on the natural 20?
No, it didn't.
Anyway, nothing has happened, and I also forgot in my chaos not to switch here. So there's your natural 20 taking off for everyone to see. It strikes out at you. The claw simply punishes and punctures through that protective armor of yours, and it deals... let's just see what it does. It deals 4 points of slashing damage.
Okay, which is quite a bit, I'll tell you that.
This is a significant amount of damage, indeed.
Quite a
then
bit.
It is the zombie next to you. It also it claws out at you. Oh God! It gets a 21.
I'm out. Let's see how much it is, but I think Van
6 points of damage.
You know what? Van is kind of tumbles down.
Van drops down into the snow. Your magical armor shimmers, flickers, and then crumbles to dust.
And we fade to black.
You awaken a few moments, hours, you're not sure, later. And you find that you are no longer alone, but instead you are surrounded by three individuals who are particularly concerned about you. One of them is kneeling over you, and it's an elderly-looking woman. By elderly, I'd say she's in her 50s or 60s. And she watches as your eyes open. You have the benefit of a long rest. There. I think that will be sufficient. He's awake, Ispin.
What? And then kind of just Van is like, what, where are the zombies? Where am I? And kind of looks around the room. Where?
She places her hand. You're still outside in the cold and the snow, and not really protected either from the elements. But you are lying under a bit of a tree, so it's providing you with some protection. She leans back. She says, "I am Becklin. You are safe from the zombies. If we had known, we would not have put them on. Well, we would not have let you come here on your own. A very plain-looking female dwarf then leers over you. Ah, you're alive. That's all that's important. Can you stand? Because it's bleeding cold out here, and I don't even want to be out here any longer than I need to.
And kind of Van just kind of tries and he feels that he's going to feel a bit weird and broken down, but I assume that he is long rest kind of feels that he can kind of stand up completely. He's like,
yeah,
yes,
everything hurts.
Everything's
it's cold. It's yeah, everything hurts.
I think I'm okay, but
oh,
is there any shelter nearby?
Ah, well. And the dwarf looks to this elderly gentleman who turns. He's a human and he's got quite a curious moustache. He looks back at you. Well, this is certainly not what we expected. You're Vannwel Amalith, right?
That is my name, yes. And then he kind of stands up a bit, like taller than what he kind of is.
Funny. I expected someone... Well, never mind. So, we're here because the Mages of High Sorcery have asked us to be present. There's something odd going on in the nearby area. We happened to find you first, and it was odd to see a potential mage lying in the snow being quietly gnawed upon by undead. Anyway, we're glad that you survived.
I'm also very glad.
Yes, good. What's your name, boy?
Vannwel.
Vannwel. Right, good. So, Vannwel, the thing is, we know that your test is supposed to happen around here somewhere, but for the love of money, we have no idea where. We also know that there's something strange going on, but again, we have no idea where. And as much as Cudgel there, he says, pointing to the dwarf, who kind of gives you a salute, and Becklin, he points to the female, who you realize now, she's wearing plate armor in the regalia of the Knights of Solemnia, which are the reigning knights within the area. You are in the Solomnic provinces, controlled by the Knights of Solemnia. And she looks you up and down and gives you a weak smile. Now,
how do you not know where the test is?
Well, we are not running the test for you.
Okay.
Do try to keep up, boy. We're here because your mage masters who are running your test said that they found something unusual. They called us here to investigate. Except they didn't mention where exactly other than here-ish. Now, this blasted blizzard is hiding pretty much everything in the area. They mentioned that they were on top of a mesa, or two. There were two that were prominent, apparently. Anyway, we can't see any. Well, so, do your magic.
Yes, my magic.
They all stand back, folding their arms, and look at you.
And I think Van is quite confused at this point because he was expecting to get somewhere to do his test. So he looks around, and then is it completely just
It's heavy snow.
White.
There's some trees.
No.
There is a cliff face not far from you, about 15 feet away. You can sort of see it looming out of the darkness. But give me a survival check.
Jesus. Okay.
Well, look at that.
At 20.
Look at that.
I think he probably Van spent a lot of his time reading, so he probably read a book about this particular situation.
I suspect as much. With a natural 20, you realize that this blizzard is probably going to blow itself out in the next few moments or minutes, perhaps, and that should help clear up things a little bit if you're just a bit patient.
Should we maybe set up a camp or something and wait a bit to see if the blizzard kind of dies down? Because right now, with magic or without magic, it's just going to be very difficult to find anything. He says to the person closest to him, which would probably be the human or the dwarf.
Yeah, they're all kind of gathered around you, looking at you. So, you want us to wait, do you? All right.
Just a bit.
The dwarf looks at you. That's a real waste of time, you know. I think we should probably just walk and see what we find. Then Becklin says, I agree with the elf. I think prudence is the better course of action here.
We don't know what we're going to stumble upon. And I kind of had a bad experience, which you probably encountered when you found me.
I knew it, says the dwarf. Coward! That's why you don't want to go running around.
Not coward, but I think it's good to be cautious. We have time.
Ispin says, well, I suppose that's true. We didn't exactly say it was a rush, and this blizzard is obscuring things. So, Vannwel, of the Mages, where should we set up camp?
I'm trying to is there like an area? There's like cover from
yeah,
trees
there's
as
some
well.
trees and things around. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think he kind of just walks around. Probably the thing that already gives us a bit more of like natural shelter, which would probably be the tree. So like under the tree, probably Van, when he kind of reaches the tree, he kind of looks up, kind of knocks it a bit to see if it's okay.
It's pretty good. Some snow thumps down into the
Moves around. I think he's kind of acting like he knows what he's doing, even though he has no clue, apart from the fact that probably the blizzard is gonna blow out in a while, because I guess it kind of the weather conditions kind of change rapidly around these areas. So apart from that, let's just around this area. Let's just wait a bit.
Makes sense. You wait, and thankfully, after probably about 5 minutes or so, and folks, I realize the roll button isn't. Is it in the wrong place? The dice roller for the viewers, is it hidden by an overlay or something? Let me know in chat. By the way, so you eventually sort of set up a basic camp, and Becklin looks to Ispin and Cudgel, and she looks at you. Do you want to set up a fire? A camp proper, or are we just waiting?
I think it's okay if we want to set up a fire. I don't see any problem. It is quite cold at this stage. I don't have any protection. I kind of came a bit unprepared, to be honest.
Cudgel looks at you. So you're trying to signal your forces of evil to come and attack us with the smoke, are you?
Well, worst thing that could happen is that whatever we're trying to find finds us, and then that cuts a bit of the time.
Ispin kind of rolls. Yes, there you go, Cudgel. Not trying to signal the forces of evil, just the forces of the Mages of High Society, which I hardly think are evil. Hey. There is conceit from Cudgel as she kind of backs down. A fire is made, and by the time the flames are flickering up, bringing warmth to your frigid extremities,
oh God,
you start to see the blizzard clearing and thinning out. And as it does so, your view of the world expands ever so slightly, and you get to see a little bit more of the world around you. And with that, you start to make out that cliff face that you saw originally may in fact be two cliff faces quite next to each other with a passage in between them.
Right.
Well, that's pretty powerful magic. You said it was going to stop snowing, and it stopped snowing.
It's a power of time. Power of time passing. How long have we kind of been waiting, by the way?
No more than 20 minutes.
20 minutes. Now that the blizzard has passed, I don't know if it's worth moving or kind of staying around here. So if you all feel that we should move, I'm happy to do it. He's kind of nervous. He doesn't know because he knows that everybody's like waiting for him to like make a decision. So he's kind of trying to see if someone has like a point, or like a strong opinion, because he's trying to, should we stay here? Should we go into the kind of area or like the passage in between, which is potentially where we start exploring?
Well, Becklin kind of looks around and looks at the fire. I suppose I could go on my own and see what I could find. Then I could report back here. That way only one of us is at risk.
I feel that if we start splitting up, it's probably going to be a bit more problematic. So I think it's fine. I'm okay with moving on if everybody is okay. And kind of moves, waiting for someone to say, no, I want to stay.
Ispin starts to get up. You can see he's got some curious leather robes on, and slung on his back is this large circular green shield, very distinctive emerald green. And as he moves, the light it rainbows across the green, making this green shield look as if it's been made out of solid jade rather than wood that's been painted. A jade shield, of course, would be very heavy and very impractical.
Would Van know what material that is?
You can give me an Arcana check.
I will give you an Arcana check. That's okay. 19.
A 19. The material that the shield appears to be constructed out of, well, you suspect that it is made out of dragon glass, which is a fairly mundane glass-like substance, except that it can hold a magical charge, which is what sets it apart from, say, regular glass, for example. It doesn't come from dragons. It's not manufactured by dragons. It's just a particular type of manufacture, made primarily by the Sylvanesti elves that you are originally from.
Right.
But this one has got an enchantment imbibed in it, or infused into it, I should say, that is giving it this emerald shine. What the spell is that's there, it's difficult to tell until a shield is actually used. Cudgel gives you a very firm slap on the rump and says, well, finally, we get to do something. All this sitting around is making my bones get cooled.
Yes, we'll continue. Ben.
Lead on, Macduff. Where are we going?
Over there, and Van kind of points to the passage. Probably that's where we need to go. I know.
All right. So as you start walking towards the passage, a few things become immediately apparent. The passage narrows down to about 5 foot in width. But with the snow having subsided, you can now see that these are two very curious shaped rocky protuberances. They look like mesas, but they're completely covered in snow and ice. And they stick up a good 60 feet into the air. And right at the top of them, you can see an ancient old wooden bridge placed between the two of them, allowing you to move from one side to the other. Other than that, they are fairly solid ice, fairly robust.
Interesting. Yes, right. So does the bridge look sturdy?
No, it definitely does not. As a matter of fact, the closer you get to it, the more you realize it is definitely not a sturdy bridge at all. Very, very rickety.
Right. However, that is above me, right? We're
yes, 70 feet above you.
We're moving below it. And around that area, is there like any way of getting up, or is like really the only way is traversing that passage?
At the moment, getting up to either of the tops of these mesas would be difficult.
Right.
It would be a
Climb.
snow climb. As far as you can see, yes, absolutely.
Right. Cool. So I think for now it's just like kind of traversing below it to see what we can find on the other side. At this point, we're kind of just searching.
Sure. Absolutely. Okay. So, what are you searching for?
Well, we know that there's a problem. There's an issue. There's something that we don't know
Uh-huh.
happening around him. So I think it's like anything that might raise the suspicion of this is not normally okay. Like this is not a natural thing, or there's yeah, like not supernatural, but like this is not normal for like a foresty a snowy area. So any kind of construction. I mean, I think that the bridge might be fairly normal, but like anything that kind of stands out in that area. So anything kind of pumped in.
And you continuing to move around?
Yes. So I think moving down the passage.
Gotcha. Okay, you continue to move down the passage, and as you do so, you realize that this passage goes on for quite some distance, but you get sort of halfway underneath, and suddenly there's this rather strange light, which is burning down below or above you, as a matter of fact, playing on just the tips of the ice. And the moment you see that, or more appropriately, the moment Ispin, Cudgel, and Becklin see it, they all immediately stop, and Ispin says, "Don't take another step. Just hold. There's something not right here."
Right. Would Van know what this glowing kind of thing on top is? Is that
go ahead and give me an Arcana check with disadvantage? And if you ask me how to do this disadvantage on D&D Beyond, you're on your own, so just roll 2d20.
Yeah, let me just do twice. So the first one is a 15 and the second one is an 11. So 11.
All right. On an 11, you are not sure. You are not sure what is going on. You are not sure what is going on. It's definitely magical in origin. Well, what type of magic you have no idea, but this is not a natural occurrence at all. So Ispin sort of walks closer to it, and as he does, he unslings that green shield and pulls out a short sword and holds the shield kind of defensively. This fire is burning 70 feet above him, and yet he's still taking extreme precautions. And you hear behind you the sound of Becklin running away.
I kind of turn.
She runs back out of the passageway.
Right. I kind of turn and shout, Where are you heading?
"Silence! Didn't you hear? Ispin, you fool," says the dwarf who's standing right next to you. Cudgel, she's also pulled out this rather heavy-looking battle axe, and you can see as the wind kind of whips her heavy cloak around, she's got plate mail on underneath. She's going to go and see if there's another way around. This is certainly not what your trial has or should be about, and if it is, the Mages of High Sorcery are bloody fools. That is morning fire. Not to be confused with what happens when the sun comes up and, oh, look, it's a lovely morning. This is what happens at funerals. You mourn. That is morning fire, the fire of the dead. It also shouldn't be here. At all.
What
Ever.
usually causes this? Is it that just death?
How well do you know your history, boy?
How well do I know my history? Fairly well, but not this particular sort of history. I'm not familiar with this area that much.
Oh, it's not just this area, laddie. It's not just this area. Go ahead and roll me a history check as your brain frantically tries to search for any information.
21.
And then immediately twigs. Morning fire and perhaps this is why you didn't immediately think about it until she said, "How's your history?" Morning fire is the magical fire that happened when the gods threw a mountain into the planet's surface, killing off most of the inhabitants. This happened 350 years ago, and as the mountain impacted with the planet, morning fire burnt everything and everyone in the vicinity to cinders. The morning fire was seen as part of the gods' wrath, as it is told. They were incensed that a high priest of Istar had attempted to become a god himself, and so they dropped a mountain on him and all of his people, and everybody else within a 1,000-mile radius, causing absolute chaos, sinking the lands of Istar and leaving behind nothing but shattered ruins and chaos. But the morning fire, once it had consumed those deemed unworthy by the gods, supposedly vanished.
Allegedly. And why would it be here? Why would it be here? So and I guess the glowing is coming from above the cliff faces. So something is above is what we're getting. Interesting. If we cannot traverse from here, is it better to do the same and see if we can go around it? And if we go around it, we might be able to climb above or find a way of climbing above and actually see what it is from a safe distance. But I feel that this is worth investigating.
Declan seems to have headed on further. Cudgel looks at you. To be honest, I think you should probably give up. Let's go back to the village. Wasn't there one a couple dozen miles back? We'll leave you there. We'll tell your masters that this is beyond your pay grade. They shouldn't even be here either, to be honest with you.
No, and I kind of interrupt. No, but this is dangerous. We should.
That's why you shouldn't be here.
But if I'm here, any other person might come here as well. Any other mage looking to complete the trial might go here. So if we're already here, we should investigate. Because this should not happen. And this is potentially very, very dangerous. And we're already here. Why are we heading back? We shouldn't be heading back. I don't want to head back.
You know what they say about those who curiosity and cats and soup and things?
Yes.
All right, well, stay behind me. And if anything comes out at you, just run.
Sure. And then immediately when kind of he goes behind him and he kind of casts mage armor on himself. And again, everybody sees it's like a glowing kind of bit around him, but it's again like if he was a bit bigger. I'm just gonna spend my spell slot for that.
Yep. All right. Chat says to roll with disadvantage. You right click on the roll and select disadvantage or advantage. Thank you, Ginger, in chat for that.
Right click on the roll. Oh yes, thank you.
There you go. All right. So with that in mind, as you are heading Cudgel starts to lead the way forward, watching above. You hear a whistle from ahead of you, and Cudgel immediately stops, listens to the whistle. It's a series of, and she stops. She says, apparently there's something up ahead, which we need to go there. She says. She then leads on, and as you round the corner of these very strange ice protuberances, you see a set of stairs starting to emerge from the snow, and Ispin standing there. The stairs seem to wind up the side of this mesa, reaching up towards the plateau. And Ispin looks at you. You're coming with us?
Yes. There's no worth heading back. This is happening now. We're already here. Let's move forward. Whilst I still have a bit of courage.
Well, just stay behind Cudgel. She'll look after you.
Keeping behind Kojo.
He then says something to Cudgel. What languages do you speak?
So Abanasian, Common, Dwarvish, Elvish, and Solemnic.
Well, he speaks to Cudgel in Dwarvish, and he says to her, "For the sake of the missing gods, don't let that young whelp get himself killed. The mages would never let us live it down."
And so Van responds in Dwarvish. Yes, preferably I don't want to die either.
That causes Cudgel to snort loudly, and immediately she kind of covers her own mouth and then glares at you for making her laugh and make the sound. But you can see that she is quite impressed by that. Ispin just gives you a grin and a wink, and then he continues up the stairs. A few moments later, you see, as you gained about 15 feet in height, Becklin has completed her journey. She comes around from the other side. She sees you ascending. Now, this staircase is particularly treacherous. These stone steps that were carved here were done so a very long time ago, and ice has formed and frozen over the surface many, many times. And it is not long before the very first of someone's steps falters. Would you please give me a dexterity saving throw?
I can in fact give you a dexterity saving throw. Dex. That's a 19.
Those are some good rolls. You see, you got those bad rolls out the way.
So this is a thing. No, he's since he's not very tall. His center of gravity is very close to the ground, right? So in kind of this role makes sense, you know.
I like that. So you are moving up. Ispin slips once or twice. Cudgel slips once, but not too badly. And Becklin doesn't seem to be affected by the snow at all. She kind of walks up quite casually.
So just a quick, is there any warmth coming from the fire?
As you are getting closer to the fire, there is no warmth at all. However, there is the faintest sound. It sounds like weeping, someone crying. Possibly a young child or a teenager sobbing quietly. Ispin turns to you. That is what you can expect from the fires. At the moment, these appear to be single souls that are still burning for whatever reason. Try not to pay it too much attention.
So wait, just a quick question. So this type of fire is something that happened after, like, I guess, an event.
The cataclysm.
The cataclysm. Gazillion. So there are still areas where this is found, right? Because seems to be lore around them and like information around them that I've been giving. So just trying to understand, is this like a once in a lifetime sort of thing that like this never happens, or is it known to appear in
You
places?
have never heard of it appearing after the cataclysm. It
Strange.
kind of signified that the cataclysm was over, was once the morning fires had burnt everything that they had touched to dust, they extinguished, and that was really when the rebuilding started. And your parents were alive at the time of the cataclysm.
Yeah.
They don't talk about it much, other than that crazy priest, and they are not particularly in praise of the Solemnic Knights either, who seem to be helping the priest rather than trying to stop him.
Right.
But yes, this would not be something that has been seen for 300 plus years.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah. Yeah. So kind of trekking forward. I guess he's kind of still a bit unsure of everything, but he's moving forward. I guess also does the fog around it on the sides, does it seem like out of place in any way?
It does not. It seems as if it's thinning the higher you get, because you're now about 50 feet above the ground below you, and when you look down, you can see the snow and very faintly Becklin's tracks. She obviously did a circuit around this thing, but no. As you approach another source of morning fire, now it is sounding like the weeping of a man. So you now have both the child and the man weeping, which makes it louder and slightly more disconcerting.
That is so weird.
Ispin stops and he pulls out of his pouch, it looks like a terracotta clay, which he rolls into a ball, and he gives one ball to Cudgel, and he gives another ball to Becklin, and then he gives another ball to you. For your ears, the songs of the dead will drive you mad if you listen to it for too long.
And I think
Before you do that, lad, if I do this, it means stop. If I do this, it means go forward. If you see my face and I'm running past you, it means run faster.
right.
Right?
I will sure to follow that. You're scaring me now. And whilst he kind of puts his
All right, everyone's stopped up. And as you do that, you just hear your own breathing and heartbeat. Yeah, absolutely starting to thump in your chest. Ispin continues ahead, you and Cudgel following
following the
behind.
group, yeah.
And as you get higher up, you start to actually get a glimpse of the plateau, although in your case you have to get much higher up in order to get onto the same level as the plateau. You notice that the stairs give way to this very flat surface, and Ispin is giving this flame that's quite nearby quite a wide berth. The rest do the same, and it becomes apparent that there are flames all over the place. Just burning away.
Do they look like actual flame that's just kind of like pale and bluish, or is it like, does it have another descriptor?
So as you're looking at these purple, blue, green flames, they dance around. The more you look at it, the more it looks like people who are on fire flailing around.
No one can talk right now. I mean, I can talk, but no one's
You
gonna
can
listen.
talk, no one can hear you.
I think Van is very, very distraught about that, because I think this is the first time that he's actually encountering something that is not what you encountered in a town.
Sure.
So he's pretty scared at this point. He is, however, again, just looking around, seeing what everybody's doing, and if it's like, are we going to move forward? He kind of starting to trust the people that he's with. Well, he obviously trusts the people that he's with.
Right. Ispin is looking, watching, so is Becklin, so is Cudgel, constantly staying in their formation, I should say, of Becklin slightly behind, with Ispin slightly ahead. He eventually does this.
Kind of Van just stops in his tracks.
All right. And you can see him pacing backwards and forwards just at the edge of your vision, until eventually he then does this.
Kind of moves, and he kind of looks around to see if there was something, try and see what he saw that caused us to like stop or continue. Like if he is he checking something, trying to make sense of what's happening right now.
Right. He is. And what he's trying to understand is, do you, and you see it, is this bridge that you saw earlier. It does not look stable. It's covered in ice, planks are missing, there's some old rope that seems to have been used to try and tie it more securely, but that's about it. And he looks at everybody else, and he pulls one wad of the clay out of his ears and indicates that you should do the same.
Okay, doing it.
Your choice. Cross or not.
We could cross, but it looks pretty unstable. Pretty unstable.
Aye. But there's someone on the other side.
Can I try to see if I can define something? I
Yeah.
guess there's not a blizzard, right?
There isn't a blizzard, but the mesas are not equal. The one that you would be heading to is slightly higher.
Yeah.
And Ispin is unfortunately a 6'2" tall human. You are almost 2 feet shorter than him. Becklin steps forward. I can make out 3 figures, I think. One of them is definitely elvish.
Oh. Okay.
You were expecting
elves? No, definitely not. But I believe as long as they're not burning figures in pain, perpetual pain, is probably a good sign. Is it? Am I being very trustful? I tend to be very trustful.
Cudgel steps forward. Well, I don't care what they are. They got here first. They probably know where this bleeding fire came from. So, well, mage, magic the bridge. I've seen it done before. You pull the rocks together and you make a bridge, or make us fly. You can do that, can't you?
Yes, and he's kind of panicking because he doesn't know what to do. He's looking around and see the first thing that he does is, I think checking the sturdiness of the bridge right now. So it is covered with ice, but is it strong ice or is it?
The ice is formed around the old wooden timbers, so there's not a lot of water to have made. It's not like it's a thick coating of ice. It's thin because it just formed on what little moisture was on the bridge, and it just hasn't thickened up over time.
Yes.
It might support your weight, but it probably won't support the plate mail.
So, okay, so let me see if I can do this. So I'm gonna move to the side and see. So Van is kind of kneeling, and he's gonna touch the floor, right? And I guess that the floor is covered with ice right now. Right?
Yeah,
there
absolutely.
is visible ice.
Yes.
So he's gonna utter some words, and basically what he's gonna do is he's gonna try and cast prestidigitation on the ice on the floor. And one of the things that it says that it does is that you can chill, warm, or flavor up to 1 cubic foot of non-living material for 1 hour. So I'm trying to see if I can warm the ice on the side to see if I can actually get access to running to water.
Oh, for sure. I love that spell. That's great. Yes, the water, you get a cubic foot of water, which is held in its place by a bowl of ice, basically.
Right. I think I'm going to do it a bit more again, see if I can get a bit more water on it.
Sure. You get 2 feet of water.
Right. And then once I have the water, I'm kind of looking around to see, I hope this works. And then I could potentially, I think Van kind of looks at the water, looks at the bridge. He's kind of thinking about things. He has the kind of the meme where you have like the equations kind of on top of you as an overlay. And he so he starts moving. He's trying to see if he can start moving the water over the direction of the bridge using shape water, which is another cantrip. So you instantly move or otherwise change the flow of water as you direct it in any direction. So I see if I can kind of sliver the water up to the bridge. And then I think I could do multiple. effects simultaneously. You can spell multiple times, more than 2 instantaneous effects. And then I want to see if I can freeze it on top of the bridge. So my idea is, I think Van's idea is try to make it more sturdy, more ice on it, so it kind of holds its shape better. And it's kind of a bit more sturdy and allows more people to pass through it. That's the whole gist of it.
Everybody is watching you in absolute fascination as you do this. And you cool that water over the bridge. There is already a wind chill factor that's below freezing. And with some effort,
It's going to take a bit of time.
freezes solid with ice.
Nice. And then he kind of, when that's done, he kind of looks behind him to see everybody, and he moves forward, and with his staff, he has a small staff, kind of just kind of leans a bit and kind of touches it and kind of knocks it a bit to see if it looks sturdier than it was before.
There is that strange ricocheting echo that happens as you tap the ice with your staff. It seems solid.
I think we can pass, but please not everybody at the same time.
I'll go first, says Cudgel. Becklin steps forward. It would make more sense if I went first. And then Isbin steps forward. Don't be stupid. You're the ones wearing all the armor. It makes sense for me to go first.
I could go first.
Cudgel looks at you. Well done. Congratulations for volunteering. Off you go.
I think Van's logic is that he is probably the least the least heaviest person there that could potentially not break it, and at least more people are allowed to kind of move forward. So he puts a feet on it, kind of feels it. Okay, it feels sturdy enough, and kind of slowly moves into like the other side.
As you get 5 foot out, it's solid. It's slippery as all hell.
Yeah, careful. It's slippery, I think.
So are you using your staff and standing?
It's not a very big staff, so I don't actually touch the floor. It's more like a small sector.
All right.
So I'm not.
All right. I'm just going to roll a d20 here for fun.
Oh,
Don't
God.
look at me. The ice holds. You go another 5 feet?
Yeah. Yeah. How much is it? Like 10 feet?
That's 10 feet that you've covered so far.
Yeah.
The ice holds.
Yeah.
You've got one final step to take. One final 5-foot step to take. There's a crack as you get to the far end because the water, as you spread it out, obviously didn't get this far. But the bridge holds.
Right. So I move and it kind of, the problem is that it kind of means that people cannot pass. It's probably going to break because they're probably more heavy than me. Do I have around me, is there like anyone, or do I have a chance to kind of top up the bridge a bit?
You can use your prestidigitation and shape water again on this side, absolutely. And that would probably secure the bridge indefinitely.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna position myself where I can see the space. Like I have probably my back to the cliff, but I can still see part of the bridge and obviously the area in case something comes my way. And then I'm trying again to do the same thing where kind of I think it wouldn't take that much at this stage because it's just probably a bit of water to kind of fill the cracks and then kind of cover them again in kind of ice.
Makes sense. And as you do that, then Ispin moves across as quick as he can, get to the side. Well done, lad. Wouldn't have thought of that. I was going to use rope and climbing and all that nonsense.
Rope. I should probably brought rope. That is a good shout.
You didn't bring rope?
I mean, yes. I have a ton of rope.
Good. Just don't tell Cudgel, eh? Then Cudgel slide, skid, walks across. Well, I'm impressed. I was expecting a stone bridge, but an ice bridge will do. And then Becklin steps across. She gives you a pat on the shoulder. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I think he is visibly like, he's trying to hide it, but he's like happy that he was actually useful for once with his magic, because he's not very used to this. And then he kind of thinks, I would probably have made steps as well. But anyway.
To give everyone a sense, Van is only level 1. Yes. Just in case there was any confusion as to why he is using these particular powers. Ispin immediately starts to scout around this area, and Becklin does as well. Now, you can see that there is this large ice pool directly beneath or to the south of you. And it's completely frozen solid, and it's very, very dark. But you think you could possibly see something in it. Give me a perception check.
Perception check. 14. Not
14.
Great, not bad.
On a 14, you peer into this lake, and hopefully you will see what is happening on the map. You start to make out horrendous shaped things frozen solid in this ice lake. Great big teeth and large scaly noses leer out at you, completely frozen. And you realize that these mesas must just be someone dropped a ton of water and froze it solid as it was dropping down. Either that or they chipped all the stone away from a rather curious shaped lake. Ispin and Becklin and Cudgel look down. That looks like a dragon.
So question. So I guess my just talking about my background, my character, he obviously grew up until whatever happened in Sylvanesti. Would he recognize visually a dragon?
Yes, from illustrations, absolutely. Now, the dragons were all defeated and sent hightailing it to the outer realms during one of the great battles in the past, and certainly have not been seen of this type and size in forever. This thing has probably been here for millennia, frozen absolutely solid.
Right.
And forgotten about, most likely.
Okay, so before everybody continues talking, the first thing that Van does when he sees the shape is he kind of just shouts a bit like, ha, and kind of slips and kind of falls. And he's kind of like trying to stand up a bit, but he's very, very scared.
Is it your first dragon?
In flesh, yes. Well, does that count as flesh?
Rather uncautiously, Cudgel taps the ice with her axe, causing Becklin and Ispin to spin around in panic. As she's tapping it, it's a loud, deep thunk. There is no empty chamber underneath. There's no echo that you normally hear.
Completely solid.
Yeah, which immediately Ispin and Becklin kind of relax a little bit as they realize that. I think this counts as dead, but it's a pretty good condition considering how long it must have been here for. It's at that point that stepping out of stepping from around a snowdrift are several robed mages, one of whom you instantly recognize as your brother, Quinwell.
Vannwel.
Quinwell, your middling brother, slightly older than you, who unfortunately has taken a rather dim view to your approach and your idea of joining the Mages of High Sorcery.
Mm,
As a mage himself, he is entitled to be part of these mage trials, and you can see that although he wears a concerned look upon his face, when he sees you, there is that glint in his eye of mild annoyance, shall we say.
right. The first thing that I think Van would do is try to stand up really quickly because it's embarrassing to have been like fallen. He kind of just waves to his brother, kind of expectantly, because he very far away or is he at speaking range?
Speaking range, he's 25 feet away.
Right. Kind of gonna say, Quinn, hey, I'm here, as you might expect.
Quinn, who is quite tall,
Very tall.
foot taller than you, looks at you disdainfully and then walks over to Ispin, ignoring you completely. The other two elves step forward, and Quinn and Ispin exchange hurried sort of whispers that you can try and make out if you want to eavesdrop.
I'm gonna try.
All right.
Would that be what sort of check?
Perception check.
Perception.
With disadvantage, unfortunately.
Let me do the thing that they suggest. It's a right click, disadvantage, roll. That's a 7.
A 7. Yeah, as you're listening, they're not speaking in a language that you understand, as a matter of fact. It sounds as if it might be undercommon or something along those lines. After a while, they stop and they both walk over to you and the rest of the group. And Quinwell looks at you, looks at Becklin and Cudgel. I am glad that you have finally made it here, Initiate Vannwel. Your trial can begin. At that point, Becklin, Cudgel, and Ispin all turn around, and Ispin says, "You're bloody mad. You can't start a trial here. That's morning fire. Do you know what that is?"
I'm okay to do the trial.
Ispin looks at you. "No, I don't think you understand. That's not just something that's here to make your trial look pretty. We don't even know where it's come from, and we certainly don't even know what it's doing, or who put it there. Quinwell, when did this flame start?" Your brother looks at Ispin. "When we arrived yesterday, the flames were smaller. They have been gaining in size since yesterday. Who put them there, we have no idea. But we are aware that they are of no importance. They are a relic from the past. And I know, Ispin, that you and your comrades are wanting to hunt down all those relics. They are nothing but history and dust. This is official mage's business. I thank you for escorting my inept brother here. Now the trial can begin and will hopefully end quickly. And then we can all return and you can play with your fire as much as you like."
I think Van is visually getting a bit annoyed, but also very self-conscious about everything. So you see him trying to stand a bit taller and kind of a bit firmer than what he was before. And I think his demeanor is pretty much that he wants to go forth with the trial right now. Like everything else does not matter. Probably before the appearance of his brother, it was more like, oh yeah, safety. Let's see what's happening. Let's investigate. Now I think it's pretty much trying to like I can do it.
Cudgel leans over and whispers in your ear, "Is there something wrong with your boots, laddie?"
No, everything's good. everything is good. They're always been like this. I always do this. He starts trembling his words a bit.
It's almost as if you're saying something about height, says the dwarf, looking at you.
What about my height?
She gives you that look of, ain't nobody said nothing about your height. You just did that. You did that on your own.
Van just gave himself out. It's fine. It's good. It's good. It's good. Wasn't there a test that we needed to do? Do we do it on top of the dragon or next to the dragon?
She joins Becklin. Ispin looks at you, looks at Quinwell. Just be careful, all right?
Careful is my middle name. It's not.
Ispin then wanders off to go and examine the fire with Becklin and Cudgel in tow, leaving you with Quinwell and the two elves. You notice that the elves, these elves you have seen around before, they hang around with Quinwell all the time. Embelwyn is a red-robed mage. She's not bad at all in terms of how she treats you, but she barely knows your name. You're an initiate, right? Belseldon is black robes and not particularly a nice person. You don't really know very much about him. He spends most of his time in books. And Quinwell, of course, in his resplendent red robe, is not overly impressed by this whole situation. Right. Now, your trial. I was impressed with the fact that you even managed to make it across the bridge, although you did create a death trap, which any fool walking across could slip and fall to their death. Did you consider that?
No, but that was the only thing that I could think of at that moment. But I did something, which is more than the rest of my party.
Farmers do something. They grow things in the ground. Perhaps you should be a farmer.
Yes, brother. Were you gonna do a test?
All in good time, initiate, he says, as he stalks forward. He gets to the bridge, and you can see him extend his hand out, and the wood slots back into place, and with a wave of his other hand, he dismisses your ice completely. Follow, he says. Do you follow him?
I do.
All right, you cross the bridge. The other two kind of follow in the distance. Now, you have proven that you understand the theory of magic as per the exams that you have written and apparently passed. But magic in the field is very different to magic in a book. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, brother. I agree.
So, the first challenge that you must face. Magic cast under duress. That is, not trying to cross a bridge which is not going anywhere, but when you are under attack. This is the kind of magic that we are testing to see whether you are able to command. If you cannot control yourself out in public, you will not wear the robes. Do you understand?
I understand, brother.
Good. Now, stand over there. And he sort of indicates a few feet away from him to the north. Do you take a few steps there?
I think at a point he's really annoyed. Van is like visually annoyed. He's like someone is kind of nagging. But at another stage, I think it is family, he kind of trusts his brother in that way. So it's kind of like this. I don't think Van kind of feels that he's gonna be in a very bad situation. But who knows? Because he's very trustworthy. Like he feels that everybody is okay. So he kind of just moves to whatever his brother tells him to go.
Right. Now, remind me what schools of magic you have trained yourself in then?
He kind of like looks at him and kind of says, "You know this," and then he kind of shows his kind of robe, and it's kind of like the coat that he has is white in color, and then it has some details, which are the details for like his family colors, which are blue and black and whatnot. But the majority is white, and I think it's because he kind of wants to. He's training in that path, so kind of you know this white robe.
Oh, yes. The tragic hero. Well. Protect yourself, he says, and he waves his hand, and 3 little orbs of very dark red appear.
Well, I'm protected already, and he already has a spell on him right now, which is the kind of the magic.
Mage armor.
Apart from that, I think he kind of tries to put in a position where he kind of dodges anything that comes at him if something's coming at him at some point.
All right. Your mage armor protects you from magic missiles, doesn't it?
Well, my mage armor, what it does, it just raises my my armor class to 13 plus I guess is my modifier, which would be +3, so 16, which would be my DC class. And
Sure.
I guess if I'm dodging, I'm actively dodging, I would have disadvantage at me. I think so.
Yeah.
That's how D&D works, right? I'm not making it up.
That's how D&D works. Unfortunately, magic missile doesn't care.
Oh, fuck, magic missile. Sorry.
You watch as these 3 bolts come sailing towards you and punch straight through your armor and burn like hell. He has somehow modified his spell, though, and all that happens is that you convulse, and it feels as if all of your muscles are on fire for a moment. And then the pain subsides.
And then do I apart from a lot of pain, does it give me any kind of hit point actual damage?
No, it just hurts like hell.
I think Van is just gonna scream a bit, and then he kind of just gets back up. It's like, is that all?
Oh, I'm sorry. You're quite right. Are you ready to protect yourself again?
Sure. And again, he's gonna, I guess, trying to dodge, but even if dodging is a problem, he's not like, I know he knows dodge does not work, but he's gonna try and kind of see if he can skip it a bit.
All right. So this time around, he steps forward and extends his hand, which glows with this dark black energy, which arcs out towards you. This time you dodge out of the way.
Okay.
Well, you might not be a mage, but you certainly might be a thief or some other lowlife like that.
Is this actually part of the he kind of starts thinking about, is this actually part of the test, or are you just messing with me and attacking me?
I think we both know that you are not ready for the test at all. And besides, I'm sure Belsedlin and Emberwyn will happily say that you failed, whether you did the test or not.
And I kind of look at them.
They stare kind of blankly at you.
Why would you do this?
Because you are not a mage, brother. You know you are not a mage.
What does it mean to be a mage? I can cast magic.
Oh, yes, you can cast magic. An ape can cast magic. Look at the humans, they do it all the time.
Okay. Is that what you want? Is that what you feel should happen? Like, are you even allowed to do tests? Is this an actual test that you're trying to do, or just stopping me from going to the actual test site?
Quinwell turns, looks at the other two. Emberwyn, what do you think? Do you think this mewling little runt deserves an opportunity? Emberwyn looks from Quinwell to you. You did come up with a rather clever way of crossing that bridge.
I did.
And it seems as if you know how to cast magic. And to be fair, there's not many defenses against magic missile. Vannwel, do you know of a defense against magic missile? You can give me an Arcana check.
Sure. Okay, 20.
Oh, dirty 20. Lovely. With a dirty 20, the shield spell will mitigate magic missiles.
Would it mitigate one of the two? Because it's 3 darts, right? Or like a
There are
number
3
of darts.
correct.
So would that
Yes,
mitigate
yes.
one of the darts?
Let's say that it would, for now.
Right.
Correct.
Um,
You know your magic. I won't stop you there. Quinwell then sort of harumphs, looks at Bell Sadlin. What of you, Bell? Bell Sadlin looks at you, Vannwel. I don't care. It's cold, Quinn. I want to go home. Give the boy the bloody test and let's get out of here. For heaven's sakes. All this nonsense. You brothers. All of you. And he kind of looks away. You can see he's weaving some magic about himself. It's obviously something to warm himself up with. Quinwell, a little bit defeated, turns and looks at you. Fine, take the test. But when you fail, don't come crying to me or father or any of our other brothers for that matter.
I've not seen you guys in like 5 years, so probably not going to see you in a while.
Yeah, well. Anyway. The test is fairly straightforward. I will summon a creature that has certain abilities. You will need to counter those abilities with each of its attacks. If you successfully counter all of the abilities, you will be entitled to graduate. Clear?
Yes.
Right.
Very clear.
Now, this... And he sort of opens out his arms. He starts to summon a creature. And it's a very simple summoning spell. You know the spell. It was one of the few kind of spells that you know about that was taught at the academy as well. It will summon an imp. And these imps usually have some kind of magical property. Fire imp will hurl fire bolts. An ice imp will hurl ice bolts. Lightning imp, etc., etc., etc. And generally, depending on the color of the imp, you know the defense that you would need to use to get away from the incoming attack, and then how to defeat said creature. As Quinwell is casting this spell, give me a perception check.
Give you perception. 6. Rolling pretty bad, I'll tell you that.
You are rolling... Well, it depends. It depends. As he finishes casting this spell, running across the bridge is Ispin, followed closely by Becklin and Cudgel. And Ispin is shouting, "Don't cast that spell!" And as he shouts it, Quinwell finishes the spell. And for a moment, you see this little imp appearing in front of you, starting to take form. And suddenly the imp is just sucked into the ice. The magic is sucked into the ice. And Quinwell, let me just make a quick roll here. suddenly screams out in pain, and you can see that magic is pouring out of his fingers into that space where the imp was, which is now just part of the ice. And the ice is very, very quickly starting to liquefy.
Okay.
I'd like you to roll initiative, if you please.
11.
All right. Hang on a moment. How do I just need to update this quickly. Bear with me, folks. Oh, it did not forget. Why did it not forget? I'm so new to using this software. Oh, restart. There we go. All right. So you got an 11 for your initiative?
Yes, 11.
Okay. You got an 11. I will roll quickly for everything else. And so with that 11, let's see. The ground around you is starting to change in color. And that purple light seems to be getting bigger. The flames that are around the edges, all of them are starting to burn brighter as your brother continues to scream with his magic seemingly being pulled out from him, or something is going on. That is what is happening there. So Ispin rushes forward, and he's just looking at the ground. He's looking at that depression, trying to figure out just what is going on, what is happening to this area and to the magic. He doesn't touch the magic. That's what he is doing. Cudgel comes rushing up next to you, and she says, "If I tell you to run, don't ask questions, just run, all right? Down the stairs."
Okay.
That's what she shouts at you. Becklin then rushes over to stand near Ispin. She has now pulled out a rather beautiful longsword and a very, very blue shield, a kite shield with this great big blue emblazoned. You hadn't seen it before because it was on her back. You're up next. Are you doing anything?
So just to understand, Quimwell is kind of being like drained.
Well, it looks like he can't stop magic pouring out of him.
Right.
And it looks like it's painful.
I think Van will try to run to his brother. And even though he hates his guts, he's trying to, not touching the magic, but trying to see. I think he's very, very distressed at this point. And he's trying to see if he could do something, either push him away without touching the stream. Maybe his cloak, trying to see if like putting something on his hand might kind of help the problem. He's the first time that he's encountering something like this, so he really does not know what to do, but he's trying to do something with his brother, trying to help his brother.
I gotcha. You look at he doesn't seem as if he's frozen in place because his elbows are twitching. You can see he's almost trying to pull his hands back from whatever is happening, and he's in considerable pain. You then take your cloak and you're going to try and put that over his hands.
Yeah.
As you place the cloak across the stream, your cloak is just incinerated.
Disintegrated.
It gets eaten up as it's being drawn from Quinwell. Are you doing anything else?
I kind of just, as soon as that happens, because I guess this is kind of fast, I kind of like look at the first person that's next to me and just shout, what do I do? How do I stop this? That's it.
That's what you shout. And in the middle of the ice, in the middle of this magical feed, there is a tremendous crack of pressure, of ice, just a tremendous shattering, if you will. And it looks as if the ice itself is going to start. If the ice itself is starting to fall inwards as this magic is just pouring into this space. Ibsen lunges forward with his shield, and he interposes his shield in between Quinwell and the source, and the magic immediately slams into the shield, and you can see Ispin shaking, Quinwell is shaking, but the magic is going straight into the shield now. And Ispin shouts, "I can't hold this bloody thing on my own," as he's desperately standing there. Cudgel rushes over and tries to support him. Becklin rushes over and tries to support him. What do you do?
I basically do the same thing. I'm trying to see if I can help him held the shield.
All right, so you have to sort of run behind him and kind of push from
right, which is potentially not that difficult because I can just pass between a lot of people.
Oh, sure, absolutely. No, it's easy enough. You quite easily can move across. Not a problem at all. And it lasts for a good 5 or 6 seconds where you're all straining and pushing and heaving, and finally the magic cuts off and you're actually all thrown forward because the pressure of the magic is suddenly released.
Oh, so we're lunged.
You're lunged, yes. The cracked ice grows even bigger as you are all kind of lying there. You can get yourselves up so that you're not prone. Yeah. But then you hear a sound, like a clawing sound. And
I guess the one that is.
Yeah, there is something coming up from underneath. And it bursts out as you folks are all trying to frantically sort yourselves out. But as it bursts out, there is a scream of terror. Because when it bursts out a good 20 feet above you. This long black neck, which is covered in green morning flame, and a head that is easily 20 feet in length just erupts in front of this whole space on the top of this very long neck. And one massive claw pulls or tries to pull itself out of the ice. And in a moment, this huge head, it hasn't any eyes, it has these dead sockets where there is frozen flesh sort of still clinging on, looks down at all of you. And we're back in initiative. And that initiative is, Van, you are acting first. What are you doing?
Right. This is I guess not unexpected. Everybody is very afraid. I start moving backwards to start getting away. However, I think I'm just kind of doing the action of like I'm retreating to see if more people kind of retreat, and then I kind of see if like I'm probably standing next to my brother to just see how he's doing with like what happened, which I guess he's better now. And then kind of waiting to see if more people kind of retreat with me.
He is visibly shaken from this experience. And you're seeing what everyone else is doing?
Yes, I'm kind of waiting to see what kind of action might be. I'm assuming that what people are going to do is they're going to start kind of running towards the other direction, which I'm potentially also going to do. But I don't want to leave people behind.
All right. Well, Bell Sadlin steps, uh, looks at this whole thing and says, "I'm sorry."
I'm out.
And he just steps off of the edge of the cliff and floats gently down to the level below.
Right.
Embelwyn looks at this thing and immediately she summons together this great big pool of magical energy that sparkles quite a bright yellow. And then she just fires lightning bolts straight at the creature. And let's just see what her damage is there as she hurls this magic at the creature. I'm just going to roll it quickly, and that's what happens. It gets to make a dexterity saving throw to try and get rid of that damage, but I don't think it's going to succeed. It does not, so it takes 30 points. It does not have immunity to lightning, so 30 points of damage to it. Then she takes up a little bit more of a... Oops, not the ice. She takes up a little bit more of a defensive position. And that brings us to the top of the round, which is then the creature. It looks down this great dead dragon that's animated by this blue flame. And it just tries to bite. And it's trying to bite Ispin. It just chomps down on Ispin. You can see him raising the green shield, but the teeth go around the shield. The mouth is so big, it's one swallow, basically. And so Ispin takes 15 plus 8. So he takes a whopping 23 damage. He cries out in pain. Absolutely cries out in pain. The creature then claws at Cudgel and scrapes across Cudgel's breastplate and hits, unfortunately, with a claw damage. And that's 11 damage to Cudgel. And Cudgel is now grappled by these claws. You can see the creature is trying to use it. It only has one claw out at this particular moment in time, but you can also see building inside of its gullet. And what is curious about the gullet is that it is exposed. You can see the ribs, or not the ribs, but sort of a spine in its neck, rib-like protrusions sticking through the flesh. And where the throat was, which was obviously a soft piece of flesh, that's gone, that's been rotted away. You can see inside these little glands squeezing what looks to be more of this morning flame into a ball that is slowly growing in its throat. That's what you're seeing. Ispin's up next. He looks terrified at this beast, looks at you and the mages, and he shouts, "Run!" And then he turns and tries to attack the dragon. He throws a lance of purple energy at it. Completely misses. It goes wide. He's obviously shaken by having been bit. Cudgel swings wildly, trying to make an attack as well. I don't know. Oh, sorry, wrong thing. Cudgel swings, hits, deals some damage to this beast. Coming up to you shortly. That's 8 damage. Then it is Becklin. She launches herself bodily at this creature, swinging with her sword, desperate to do something, but doesn't break through its armor on her first attack. On her second attack, she fails to break through its armor as well. You're up next. What are you doing?
So I think Van kind of moves down, and he's trying to, because when the spell hit the ice, it kind of unfroze a lot of the ice, right? So there's water around, right?
Yes.
So I'm trying to see if I can make with the water kind of like a slide or something going downwards to like ground level from the back of the cliff. Kind of
All
get
right.
like an easy way of like just leaving, like everybody just kind of leave from this area because I don't think that we can take this.
It's going to be a challenge because you're 70 feet up and
Oh,
you can do 1 foot at a time,
no,
right?
no, definitely not that. I didn't even realize that it was so tall. Wow.
The stairs going down are on the other side of this creature.
Oh, the other side of the creature.
Yeah.
And the creature is halfway in the hole, right? It
It's
hasn't.
halfway in the ice. Correct. Correct.
Hmm. Right. Um, as a level one mage, I will try and see if I can create you know what I'm gonna do? I am going to try and see if I can cast magic missile to the hand, targeted at the hand that's kind of
Right.
having
Yes.
the clawed in, just to see if I can get it to let go the creature that's holding.
You
Uh
throw your magic missile.
so I am throwing my magic missile and I'm casting. Does it cast it automatically? Oh no, I need to do. Yeah, fine. So that's a 4.
You do 5 points of damage.
Uh 5 points of damage, and it is 3. So that's 1.
Yeah.
Do I need to do it again?
Sure.
2, 3. That's a 4.
Nice. So
And
that's
then
9
another
damage in
one,
total.
which is another 4. Again, all
That's
targeted to the hand of the thing. And the point is that I know that I'm not going to be able to defeat it, but at least I want to free the.
right. So 13 points damage to the creature. It does not let go, unfortunately. But it nearly
Expected.
did. It thought about it.
Expected.
It thought about it. All right. Amblewind throws out another lightning bolt as best she can. Let me get the dragon to do its dex save first. It fails. She hits it and deals 20 points of lightning damage to it.
That's a lot.
She's not. It doesn't. You can't tell if you're doing damage or not because it's already dead. The
Pretty
flames are just sort of roiling up. So that is what she is doing. He is currently drifting this way, so he dashes 60 feet. So that's where that mage is rushing off to. It is now the dragon's turn. It pulls itself forward and frees up another leg. And then it just releases that fire from its gullet. And so it's a wave of flame in a 30-foot cone. So that is going to hit. What's it going to do? It's going to breathe in that kind of way. So a 30-foot cone. It's going to hit Ispin, Quinwell, Vannwel, and Becklin in this wave of death that is trying to breathe. Cataclysmic breath weapon, it's called. So, Vannwel, please would you give me a dexterity saving throw?
Dex save. It's a 14.
14. Okay, your brother has rolled a 6, so he's not going anywhere.
Quinn. Classic Quinn.
Well, Ispin only got a 10, so not much luck there. And Becklin, where are we? Dexterity saving throw. Okay, Becklin is the only one who gets out of the way of this horrendous stuff. But what she is actually going to do is she leaps in front of you and Quinwell with her shield raised. Well, that's what she's trying to do anyway. And so she will take the brunt of the damage because it's quite the blast. of energy that sails out. It's 41 points of damage, which is done to
Jesus.
Ispin. He takes half of that, so he's on his knees. Then Becklin takes the full brunt of that, 41. She screams out in pain. You can see this fire burning all over her. And then Quinwell, he literally passes out. He's unconscious, which means you take 5 points of burning damage. I'm just trying to see what it is. It's necrotic damage.
Okay.
5 points to you.
Right. As expected, Van is not looking very nice, but he is still standing, which is good.
That's what that creature has done. Ispin screams and shouts bloody murder at it. He then does this. He points at the creature and he shouts, "I command you to turn into a worm." And with that, he throws some magic directly at it. And it has to make a wisdom saving throw. Which it fails, and it promptly turns into a worm.
Okay.
There is silence as everyone just pants for a moment.
Is everybody okay? And then I kind of rush at
your brother is completely down.
So can I put my hand on his chest and see if I can do like spare the dying? Because I feel that if he's kind of fallen, he's probably not in a good condition. So I'm trying to just kind of see if I can kind of stabilize him a bit.
Absolutely. You cast spare the dying?
Yep.
Sure thing. You spare the dying. Becklin comes over and looks. Right. Well,
we need to leave right now.
Ispin steps forward and just scoops the little worm up and puts it into his pocket.
Interesting.
The purple flame, by the way, starts to dissipate.
Oh.
And that causes everyone to pause yet again. Cudgel looks around. I'm not sure what to make of that. Emblewin steps forward. I think that creature was raised by the flame. But I will need to do some research on this first before I can say that with certainty.
Do you think it used the power that was left on the flames plus the magic from my brother and kind of revived the dragon? Is that a dragon? What even was that?
Ispin looks at you. I think the morning flame somehow woke that beast, and then the magic that your brother was casting fed it and revived it of a sort. I think those beasts are called death dragons. If that is a death dragon, and someone is setting this morning flame about, we could have a problem here. We will have to return to the councils and see what they say. Vannwel, we can escort you as far as the village to the south. There you and your brother and Lady Emblewin may return to your towers. It is unfortunate that your trial seems to have concluded thusly. I hope it puts you in at least good standing. If we can be of assistance in any way, let us know.
Thank you very much. There will be time to do this again, as long as the good thing is we're okay, right? Could have been worse, way worse. What are you going to do with a worm?
That's a very good question. Thankfully, I don't have to answer it just yet. I'm surprised that spell actually worked, considering. But it'll last for an hour. The village is not more than half from here. Will give us time to think about it. Your brother is slowly revived by Becklin. You can see that she has applied bandages to his wounds and is trying to make the most of it to revive him. He gets shakily to his feet. It looks as if he needs support.
Yeah. And I think Van is, again, helping him up. As much as he can, or like trying to help him with that. Even like it is like the conversation is happening around him, I guess, so he's kind of also helping out. I don't think, even though as much as Van is really annoyed by the way that his brother treats him, at the end of the day it is family.
All right, so you help him?
Yeah.
Okay. Slowly you make your way off of the mesa and out of the snowfields down into the little village that you passed, it seems like, an age ago. And over the next few days, there are, some times where your brother's wounds seem to be quite grave and quite serious. He doesn't ever recover fully enough to be able to talk by the looks of things. He seems to have been drained quite heavily with that magical spell, whatever it was. And Ispin, Cudgel, and Becklin, they take their leave. They're going to have to go and figure out what to do with this dragon to begin with. Ispin has an idea that there is a frost lake not far. The dragon was frozen once. Maybe it will work again if he can get it into the center of the lake.
Fair enough.
But they leave and you don't hear from them again. When your brother does recover, he is quiet. And he calls you into the room that he has been recovering in.
Van always goes. He kind of enters a bit sheepish because he is I think he's kind of scared of the reaction of his brother because he did see him in a quite vulnerable state. And I don't like, Van doesn't know how this is going to play out, so he's kind of still a bit apprehensive about all of this.
I'm told that you did not run when you were told to run.
I did not.
I'm also told that you threw what magic you had against that creature, rather than trying to save yourself.
I did. Yes, I did. He's kind of like thinking back of like, yes, I did that. We were in danger and I needed to help. I know I'm not strong, but I just want to help. I want to help people. I want to help the teams. When I saw you, I tried to help you as well. Hope you did not read it the wrong way.
You are an insufferable little brother, you know that, don't you?
You told me many, many times.
Yes. I would not wear these robes if the Council of Mages had not entrusted me to make the right decision for the Mages of High Sorcery. And as a result of that, there is no way that I can wear these robes and not say that you have passed your trial. Your actions were far greater than an acolyte's actions ever would. Your defiance of orders to run away, rather to stay and try and save those around you, even though those around you were not necessarily your allies, speaks highly of your character, unfortunately, brother. It means that you are now a mage of high sorcery. And because of your selfless acts, you are granted your white robe. Do not let this go to your head, and do not for a moment... Oh, he kind of winces as he's getting a bit too excited, and you can see sort of pain washing over. He then sort of falls back. Do not think for a moment that now that you are a mage, you are equal to any of your brothers. You have a long way to go to prove that.
And I will prove it.
Something tells me that you might just do that. Something tells me that you might just do that. And on that note, folks, we come to the end of tonight's adventure. Thank you for playing, Gabe.
No, thank you.
I hope that you had fun and that you don't hate me. You don't hate the GM, hate the NPC, right?
No. It was amazing. Honestly, it was amazing. Really, really fun.
This is what happens when you write backstories, folks, and you give me 3 brothers and one of them doesn't like you. Naturally, that's going to be the one that I play because they're much more interesting.
To be honest, I think they both hate me in certain levels. So There's probably one that hates me probably a bit more. So let's see what happens.
We shall see. But good news. So, firstly, you get to level 2. Secondly, you now get to call yourself a wizard of the Mages of High Sorcery and wear a white robe identifying your character as such. All right, so Gabe, big thank you for you playing with me this evening. To all of you watching, a massive thank you for watching. It was good to have you all back here in the first stream. Now, I know that there is some confusion as to the thumbnails. They say talisman. That is how long ago it's been since I streamed onto this channel. That thumbnail will be updated. We are playing Dungeons & Dragons, Dragonlance, Shadow of the Dragon Queen. And if you want to know what's going on, what's going to happen or come up next, you can go and watch my YouTube videos of last week and the week before where I was talking about exactly this. It does contain spoilers, so bear that in mind.
I won't watch it.
Good. Yes, good. If you want to know how I am unpacking and playing the Dragonlance adventure campaign, this is it. And we will be every Thursday at this time. Next week, I'm joined by one of my other players, as for the first 4 weeks, we're doing one-on-ones, introducing each of the characters and yourselves to the world of Kryn and the adventure that sits within the book. I would love to see you around. I know, folks, we're also talking in chat. Are there ways that chat can influence and change things? You will be able to do so from the group adventure onwards. So watch out for that. We'll be posting up things that you can and cannot do there. And if you want to chat more, find us on discord.gg/greatgm, where there are plenty of people who will be talking about all kinds of things. After the stream, I'll be setting up a special chat room just for the Dragonlance book. It will contain spoilers, so be advised, but great place to hang out and share your thoughts. Of course, if you haven't already, please hit the like button or the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel so you can be alerted when the stream happens. I have now gotten, hopefully, fingers crossed, used to all of the technical bits and bobs that go on with running a stream on YouTube these days. It has changed quite significantly from when I used to do it. And so the stream won't be hidden for the first 7 minutes, and without audio for the first 1 minute, and without, there's so many things that it won't be next week. I promise you, fingers crossed. Until next week, if you want to catch me, you can catch my videos on Mondays, and now Wednesdays are the shorts. On Tuesday afternoon at 5 p.m. British Summer Time, or BST, or GMT, whatever you want to call it, which is 9 a.m. Pacific Time, there is a live talk on Discord. That's discord.gg/greatgm. Love to have you there. You vote for the topics on the YouTube channel in the community tab. Lots of information being thrown at you. Gabe, remind us where we can find you and follow you.
at The Art of Gabe in Twitter and Instagram. Do follow me.
Twitter and Instagram. There you go. Twitter and Instagram at The Art of Gabe. I think we already follow The Art of Gabe, so hopefully we can share all of that social media stuff. Right, that's it for us. These shows are only 2 hours long, unfortunately, but it is what it is. So until next week, from myself, all I have to say is goodbye and happy gaming. And I forgot to set an end screen. So we're just going to sit here awkwardly until I press a button. I'm going to press the button.
Press it.